One day, Clarence gets fed up with her routine. Clarence decides to give her the hair he's been sweeping outside all summer, and Sandy isn't happy, but ends up getting wheeled out by her own clumsiness, and she never returned again. Interesting. Well, now we know how Clarence's family makes their money, I guess. In the episode The Big PD Pizza Problem, Jeff's having a birthday party at a bowling place, and everyone is terrible, except for Gilbin, a classmate who's having a party that same day. He bowls a perfect game, and he's, well, I don't even know if he's human. Jeff's friends go over to Gilbin's because he has bumpers up on his lane, and also because he has more pizza, leaving Jeff alone. Yeesh, kids can be kinda heartless. When Gilbin steals his thunder, Jeff does what Jeff always does and goes crazy, fighting Gilbin and hitting a strike through his cake. All while Gilbin doesn't say anything or move an inch. After a while, Jeff heads in to apologize, and Gilbin accepts, handing Jeff his own cake. Everyone laughs, and Gilbin remains as still as a statue. In the next episode, it finally happens. The gang splits up. After Sumo ruins Jeff's stop-motion movie and Jeff breaks all of Sumo's eggs, the two end their friendship. They each have separate playdates with Clarence after, causing Clarence to start losing energy due to hanging out way too much. I know, Clarence losing energy? That's crazy, right? So yeah, Clarence decides for everyone's sake, he's gotta get the two back together. After failing to have the two show up for a spaghetti dinner, Clarence talks to each of them, and neither seem to be handling things too well. Clarence ties Sumo up and brings him to Jeff's, and handcuffs everyone together to try and become friends. Sumo breaks everyone free by biting through the freaking handcuffs. What is that kid made of? And Clarence gets caught by a tree on the way down. His pants fall down too, causing Sumo and Jeff to laugh together, and so the two become friends again. We knew this would probably happen eventually, but I'm glad it was sorted out. In the episode Bird Boy Man, it's shown that Sumo is taking care of some baby birds and nursing them to adulthood. That's so sweet. However, one of the birds, named Hot Sauce of course, follows him to school. And so he heads over to the old truck he stashed them in to put him back, only to find everyone else had gone off. Sumo takes the bird home and focuses entirely on parenting it, even ditching school, which his mom isn't happy about. After a while, the guys check in on Sumo and are introduced to Hot Sauce, but he's definitely more of a bird than a friend. Sumo tries to take him out on the town, but things don't go well, and eventually Hot Sauce wants to be set free, but Sumo won't let him go. The guys convince him to let Hot Sauce fly into nature, but only after he's dragged off a cliff and breaks his foot. So, yeah. Now Clarence and Jeff have to nurse Sumo back to health. In the next episode, Miss Baker decides to have Clarence make a comic for the school paper, which is run by Belson. Oh, also, Gilbin's beating buff dudes in arm wrestling. It's good to know. Clarence brainstorms for a while, even making a Garfield ripoff before making a strip about a cactus that farts. And of course, it's a massive success.
What is he?
Miss Shoop doesn't find it funny though, and anonymously calls the teacher in charge of the paper, Mr. Reese, to complain like a parent. Mr. Reese decides the only thing he can do to save the school from a media firestorm is to censor the cactus and make it say, "Stay in school," causing all the paper readers to turn on Clarence. Man, he really got Greg Heffley in this one. Major Diary of a Wimpy Kid vibes. Mr. Reese, who's in disguise, inspires Clarence to protest, and Miss Shoop is still the only one who hates it. She takes a microphone and yells into it, before accidentally farting into it herself, which Clarence thankfully blames on the cactus he's been holding. The school allows the comic to continue, and the day shines a little bit brighter now that cacti have the right to fart. Beautiful episode. In the episode Saturday School, the guys make a mural on the side of the school, which causes them to have to stay at school for the weekend and clean the place.
Fucking God, he's such a loser.
Jeff kinda gets lost in the work, so Sumo and Clarence go and find some fun, which for them is easy in the completely empty school. Jeff ended up losing Herman, the school hermit crab, while cleaning Miss Baker's room, and so the three of them have to clean their mess to find Herman. Miss Baker finds the mess first though, and stresses out big time over it. Thankfully, after a brief scare, Herman is found and returned to his tank, and the mural still isn't cleaned. Well, in the episode Attack the Block Party, Clarence thinks he sees an alien, which turns out to just be Belson flying a drone. Clarence, while searching, finds a rave and thinks it's the aliens, and so he hops a fence and gets talking to some teenagers who he still thinks are aliens. Jeff and Sumo are looking into it as well, also thinking the teens are aliens. And of course, Sumo bolts right into the rave. A bunch
yeah,
more
that makes
teen
sense.
party chaos goes on. Jeff gets a sample of an alien. Clarence wows some teens with just nonsense alien imagination. And Sumo is surprisingly a hit with the ladies. Jeff eventually tries to save Sumo, who's surrounded, and sprays a hose throughout the house until he's kicked out. Him and Clarence each head home scared, while Sumo gets a ride home from one of the girls. Go Sumo, who'd have guessed? In Skater Sumo, Chelsea, again kinda half flirting, half annoying, gets Sumo alongside Clarence to skate with her. And so the guys start making their own boards.
Careful now.
That should
Those are my good beads.
What is this?
When they're done, they go to Chelsea, but Sumo thinks Clarence isn't extreme enough and gets him to stay home. When he and Chelsea get to where she's taking him, it turns out to be an empty pool. But the stunts she and her friend do aren't very extreme, and so Sumo starts to feel bad. Clarence does show up right after though, and while trying to pull off a
What?
super
That makes
dangerous
no
trick,
sense.
accidentally blows his
Wait,
skate just in
what?
time to have the wheels fall off.
Big fan
They
of
keep
those.
doing
Big
super
fan of
safe
those.
skating stuff. And nobody gets hurt, except for the pool, which turns out to be Belson's. He's pretty occupied with his dolphin game, though. Dolphins again? Alright, good to know. He really likes them. In the next episode, the guys are prank calling, but Clarence stumbles upon a girl named Bella who's doing the same thing while calling.
Just kidding. I'm not really an alien. I'm Bella.
And the two instantly become friends, talking for the rest of the day. Clarence invites her for dinner too, which ends up just being the phone sitting at the table because yeah, that's exactly how that works. Sumo and Jeff invite Clarence to go sledding down a hill, but he can't go just yet as he's on the phone with Bella. Eventually, he dazes off on a call with her, and she hangs up kinda passive-aggressively. Clarence forgets her birthday too, and tries to call last minute, but to no avail, as he clogs her voicemail box. It's Bella's mom who actually hears Clarence's voicemails, and so her mom and Clarence's mom set up a playdate for the two, where they finally meet. They're shy at first, but eventually figure out their dynamic, and actually hold hands too. This one is pretty sweet. In the episode Jeff's Secret,
Oh my God, why are
Clarence
they
learns
using
that Jeff
cycles
has an
so
extra
much?
toe, but he keeps it super duper secret and wants to keep Clarence quiet. We also see Jeff's parents, and he's actually got two moms. Ah, that's cool. Anyway, Jeff is hyper paranoid that Clarence is gonna blab, or that someone is gonna find out about his secret somehow. And eventually, Clarence comes pretty close. A video comes on and talks about how koalas have extra toes to hold on to stuff, and Miss Baker asks a quiz question to see if people were paying attention. Clarence answers Jeff when asked about an animal with an extra toe.
All right.
But nobody except
So
Jeff
yes, oh my
understands
God, I
that
can't
that was
attach
an
that
actual
guy.
answer.
This cycle
Jeff
gets
gets
so
mad,
bad.
and Clarence decides to try and make it up to him by having the school think he has an extra arm. And after that, everyone shows off their weird features, and Jeff shows off his toe finally. Everyone accepts him and is amazed, until Nathan shows his double jointed,
HK.
and he takes all the attention. For Clarence, Jeff's toe is still his favorite weird thing though, and so Jeff gets rid of his toe cap. See, celebrating differences is the key to happiness, and Mr. Reese is eating the cap. Wait, what? In the episode Birthday, it's Clarence's birthday party, and Sumo and Jeff get a little peeved when everyone from Miss Baker's class shows up, meaning Clarence can't spend as much time with them. When it's time to open presents, Sumo and Jeff are last in line, and their gifts of throwing grease and pie are overshadowed by everything else Clarence got, especially his brand new bike from his parents. They leave with their presents, and Clarence realizes he's been ignoring them, and so he rides off to find them right as they're about to toss their gifts at a rock. The three make up and head back to the party, where Chad has been entertaining everyone as a clown in the meantime.
Just once more.
Clarence wraps up and reopens his bike so Jeff
What
and
is
Sumo can
that?
be involved, and Chad gets set on fire. A happy ending for everybody. In the next episode, we actually get to see a flashback of a very young Chad climbing a tree with his friends so that they could carve their
my
names
God,
into
stop
it and
using
be
a
best
psychic
friends
name.
forever. Which of course, Sumo, Jeff, and Clarence want to do too. Unfortunately though, the carving tree is being removed
See,
the
that's
next day
no
due
fun.
to
Yeah,
a
just genuine
fungus.
no fun,
Dang.
bro.
So before
I
it's
hate this
gone,
guy so
Clarence gets
much.
Sumo and Jeff to head to the tree, and the three make the treacherous
thing
climb.
is not a
At the
fun
middle
one to use,
point,
man.
Jeff and Sumo fight over who's the better climber, before deciding to continue higher up.
This
Sumo
reach,
sacrifices
dude. Let me kill
himself
this
so the
guy.
other two can
Let
climb
me kill
on.
this guy.
That was fun.
And then Jeff sacrifices himself so Clarence can climb
Oh my
on.
God, this guy's
Clarence
terrible.
gets to the top,
Never
and the
used
tree
toy
speaks
gun.
to him,
Toy gun.
where Clarence
It's
then
the
realizes
worst
he
weapon,
doesn't
bro.
need to carve his name
Worst
in a
weapon
tree
can
for the three to be friends
be.
forever. But the tree doesn't like that he's figured that out,
It's just
and trips him, causing him to fall off. Luckily, he's caught by Chad's friends, who he called to catch up with after he told Clarence his story. And together, everyone watches the tree get torn down. Also, yeah, the tree was never as big as it seemed. Oh, the power of imagination. In the next episode, we've got a two-parter called Capture the Flag, where the kids of Aberdale are split into teams to play the titular game. Clarence looks to be pretty great at the game, protecting his teammate from getting hot by a water balloon. And Chelsea distracts the other team so the fairy team's flag can be stolen by Julian, another classmate of Clarence's. Belson shows up with his team, who apparently win every year and demand control of the neutral zone in the cul-de-sac, alongside the juice boxes within it. Another team, the Wheelies, also show up to grab some juice, but are obviously scared of Belson, so yeah, he means business. Clarence and the other members of the Nuggets head back to their base, which is,
Like,
of course,
why?
the treehouse, and figure they just need the Wheelie flag and Belson's flag to win. So after a brief bit of planning, they head to the Wheelies base. Also, Jeff is having a lovely time in the Nuggets jail. I'm not kidding. Clarence sneaks around and notices some of the other team members in jail, and so he decides to free them because they seem sad. Chelsea and Julian almost got the flag of the Wheelies, but an evil, mysterious new team, which apparently isn't run by Belson, shows up and takes the flag, with the Nuggets barely escaping. Belson isn't so lucky. Clarence's new goal is to free all people who are in prison and leave the other Nuggets behind. They head to Belson's to grab his flag, but find he's been drenched and ask him what happened. He explains the other team